Great to be here. It's an honor to be in front of such a wonderful group today to learn, to be equipped, to be empowered, as Pastor Bernard mentioned, to fight this terrible arm of Satan called addiction that's ruining our world, our youth, our country, our companies, our churches, our young people. And it's killing people right and left. And today, hopefully, as you can see on the screens, my little presentation today is called Two Employers, Converting Liabilities into Assets. And the first thing I want to show you, I kind of do a little bit of shock therapy, so to speak. I throw a couple things out there and I just leave them hang because they really, in and of themselves, because of the power of the statement themselves, they have an impact and they draw our attention to something very important. Now, you may look, and actually you may have a legitimate kind of a beef, say, hey, you dummy, that's Time magazine. You're supposed to be a doctor talking about science. Time is hardly a scientific journal. And if you kind of pay attention and read the first line there, this is from statistics from 2006. And you may say, man, you're old-fashioned. This is almost 10 years old. Well, I got to let you in on a little secret. I purposefully chose this source. I purposely chose this slide to make a very important point. The reason I chose Time magazine and not ASAM or JAMA or any of the other scientific journals is to show us today that the manifestations, the destructive power of addiction is commonly known to everybody. Is commonly known not just to the statisticians, to the researchers, to the doctors and the scientists, but to everybody, at least on one level. And 2006, I purposely chose a, you could say, antiquated source of information simply to let you know that this information has been out for more than a decade. But what we're going to see today is that despite what I just said, because of the power of denial in addiction, both to the afflicted, both to the families, also to the society, if you will, at large, there's still a basic ignorance, and we're going to address that today. Now, if you just pay attention to one part on that slide up there, I just highlighted, you'll notice that back again about 10 years ago, give or take, there was a significant cost to heavy drinking. Now, those of you who are familiar with addiction, how many people are familiar with addiction? Anybody? There's a few of you here. Addiction is more than just alcohol, okay? But this slide is talking about just alcohol. And just alcohol alone has cost this country back in 2006 by this study 220 plus, not million, billion dollars. And the highlighted thing that I put up there is says almost 3/4 of the cost of the drinking was due to loss of productivity. Now this is a leadership conference. There are going to be business leaders here, business owners, executives, et cetera, et cetera. This is a problem that affects many parts of the fabric of our society, but also including our business, our economy. It is a serious problem economically, as you could probably see from that. Another slide I put up here, as the previous one talked about drinking, this one throws a little bit of tobacco. I won't talk much about that today. Sorry, you people who smoke. and of course, other drugs. And if you'll notice, just the simple thing I want to point out in this slide is that there are healthcare costs listed for these substances in the middle section. And if you notice, that is a small fraction of the total cost. You may think, oh my God, drug or alcohol or whatever. Of course, people get sick, they get hospitalized, they have complications, they have surgeries, they whatever, end up in the ICU, overdose. You may think that the majority of the costs are healthcare costs, but ironically enough, the majority of the costs are actually other than healthcare costs. As we mentioned, the loss of productivity. So this is a serious problem to our businesses as well as our community. And I'm sure other people are going to talk about, other presenters are going to talk about some of these statistics, so I'm not going to just hit you a whole lot with this. Just one more. This slide is a little more recent, and it shows for the last 13, 14 years, whatever, the continued increase in overdose deaths, okay? And this is, to note, only from prescription drugs. This isn't from heroin. This isn't from alcohol. This isn't from crack. You know what a menace those things are to society. These are prescription drugs. So I'm going to assert, and I can do this because I am a doctor, I'm going to say that the ignorance of addiction also affects the medical community. You do not need to be a statistician or a scientist just looking at that one graph to understand that, because these prescription drugs are obtained not from drug dealers from Venezuela, not from other countries, but they're obtained from the hand of a physician. So the ignorance of addiction goes even into our medical community.